Morning, everyone. On behalf of the AVCA board and team, welcome to the second AVCA Sustainable Investing in Africa Summit. It's great to see familiar and new faces in the room this morning. And it's really great that we're all gathered here for this important event where we will collectively discuss the significance of sustainable investing on the continent, the opportunities and the challenges that lie within, and fundamentally its role as a stimulant for positive change in Africa. Some of you were here this time last year for the inaugural Sustainable Investing in Africa Summit. And for those of you that were here, you might recall we had some bold, ambitious targets that we set around the industry last year. And I'm just going to go through some of them. So the first was our gender lens investing and advancing women's economic empowerment target. The 50-30 pledge was born. Tukum was then in the room, and she was one of the panelists that galvanized that pledge. And what we had committed to do as an industry was by 2030 to get 50% of investments being deployed to female-led founders and gender diverse teams. The second ambitious goal we set was to increase climate consciousness and investment in climate mitigation and adaptation towards a more sustainable future. And then the third was around coherency, around impact measurement and reporting. So a year on, a lot has happened, but there's still more to do. 288 million, 15% of the total funds raised, by the way, has been raised by female-led or female-founded funds. And on the early stage investing side, 2.8 billion has been deployed to female-founded and female-led startups. Again, this is still just 24% of the deals that have been done on the continent. So as I said, yes, some work has been done, but as you can all agree, there's still quite a lot of work to do. However, one of the positives is the industry is galvanized towards increasing gender parity, and I'm positive the further strides will be made as we progress to 2030. Today, Africa stands as a leader in climate action, reframing the existing narrative of being the continent most affected by the climate crisis, but now being the continent working towards a solution. This was marked by the first ever Africa Climate Week, where we had heads of states, government representatives, and the private sector gathered to dialogue on renewable energy, sustainable land use, innovative climate technologies, just to name a few. And while there were many outcomes of that summit, the Nairobi Declaration was the most significant from my perspective, which saw African governments pledge to increase renewable energy generation from 56 gigawatts to 300 gigawatts by 2030. From a private sector perspective, we continue to see more climate-focused managers raising funds targeted at deploying on the continent, and an increase in climate-conscious investments in Africa. We now have 49 private capital investors in Africa's ecosystem, with 415 billion in collective assets under management. As the industry body, we continue to shine a light on contemporary issues and trends and opportunities confronting private capital in Africa. This is why AVCA, in partnership with the Tony Blair Institute, released the Climate Financing in Africa report earlier this year. And the purpose of the report was to map the current nature of climate-focused funds and investments being channeled to the continent, as well as to provide an overview of the climate policy in Africa. On impact, I'm really pleased to report the industry's continued prioritization of impact in tandem with financial return. We're seeing an increasing number of managers releasing their impact or sustainability reports, and an increasing number of managers realizing the importance of such impact, and we hope this trend is going to continue going forward. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, a fair bit is happening in the industry. So the question is, where do we go from here? With less than a decade until 2030, our vision at AVCA is for more capital deployment over the next decade, targeted at opportunities and solving challenges across the sustainability spectrum. We hope to see the private capital industry continue to take action and fundamentally to demonstrate the power of private capital to be transformative in realizing the UN SDGs. So what can you expect today? Over the course of the day, you will hear from investors, industry leaders on a broad range of issues, including the Sustainable Development Opportunity, which is the first panel, the role of technology as a tool for sustainable investing, decarbonization of traditionally heavy industries, and the role of private capital in supporting resilience and rebuilding during and post-conflict. As you all agree, this latter topic is extremely pertinent now, given some of the current events and insurgencies occurring globally. Guided by our mission to champion private capital investment in Africa and showcase the wide-reaching impact of private capital investment, we, since 2016, have reported on how private capital investors contribute to a sustainable future by implementing ESG standards and the SDG goals in their investments. And we've reported on job creation, job quality, governance standards, and gender parity. Next year, we will focus on reporting the wide-scale impact of the private capital fund managers, as well as other thematic reports, including the road to gender parity in private capital. So for now, I want to give a special thanks to our Sustainability Committee, to the AVCA board, our members, our sponsors, and the AVCA team, without whom we wouldn't have been able to put together this event today. With 7 years to go, the question still remains, what more can we each do to ensure we meet the SDGs? And on that note, I wish you all good deliberations and hope you have a really great day. Thank you.